Over 1.5 million Ugandans are now connected to the national grid of electricity from 250,000 customers 16 years ago, since Umeme took over the management of supplying electricity to communities across the nation, and this has happened tremendously due to the heavy investments done by the utility since its inception in 2005. Speaking to the spokesperson of Umeme, Peter Kauju, at the Umeme offices in Kampala, such investments call for a lot of work, and since they have a mission to connect over 10 million customers to the national electricity grid by 2030, this can be achieved as over 30,000 people have been connected to the grid since December 2020, despite the COVID-19 pandemic that hit the globe. Kauju confirms how this has been achieved due to the electronic application of electricity by people, and this is done in 2 days once all payments are done, as he explains.
People that wanted to apply or that needed to apply for power, they are now able to do it without coming to our offices physically. You only need to visit our website, www.umeme.co.ug, and you can apply for power online. After making all the payments, the necessary payments, we are able to connect in 3 days. So since December up to date, December 2020, to where we stand now, we have been able to connect about 30,000 self-funded people. The people that could not wait for the government connections. Remember, we have 2 programs which are running. We have the electricity connection policy, which is fully funded by the government of Uganda. But at some point, it had to halt because of resources. And so we have been able to connect people there, but also those that cannot wait for government. There are slightly over 30,000.
Kauju confirms further as more investments have been done in the field, more so in the construction of substations across the country, and this is done to improve on the network and reliability.
Network improves in terms of reliability, and so a lot of investments in so many areas. The substation which was upgraded in Imbale, Gulu, we upgraded the substation, we upgraded another in Dira, and right now work has started for a new substation in Nakasamba in Entebbe that is going to serve the Entebbe area, because we see growth coming up in that area, and also in so many other areas where we had to do network overhauls, replacement.
Indeed, the generation capacity is increasing in Uganda, and by the end of the year, over and almost 2,000 megawatts could be added on the national grid, something that could improve on the connectivity of the population.
Of course, working hand in hand with other sector players to, as you know, that the generation capacity is increasing, possibly to almost 2,000 megawatts by the end of this year. So we have to continue distributing this power and growing the network to ensure that Ugandans can actually best be served by power, because almost everybody needs power, right from a small holder, a person who is running a retail shop, to the biggest in terms of industries. And as you know, under NDP3, industrialization is one of the key drivers that government has focused on.
However, Umeme did face some challenges during the pandemic, and this includes power theft, vandalism of poles, among other things, which was attributed to delays of the officials to connect them to the grid.
We noticed that some areas will continue to steal power, and so we are averaging at about 17%. But we're going back to the community to speak to people. One of the biggest causes was the fact that people used to indicate that connections would delay. But now that we are able to connect people within 2 to 3 days, it shouldn't be reason for anybody to steal power, because it's also risky. We have had cases of electrocution because arising from illegal connections, and so vandalism of the network, power theft.
Kauju now challenges the populace to avoid indulging themselves into illegal acts of power theft, vandalism of poles, and using unqualified people in connection of power into their homes.
Speak to people like we're doing right now here on Channel 44. We want to appeal to you, dear Ugandans. Electricity is very dangerous, and so if you're not authorized to access the network, please do not. And also, if you have saved your money, you've invested in property, you want to install power, please use licensed people. Don't just go to anybody who doesn't have the skills. You might end up losing your property which you have saved for your entire life. And also, for those that are engaged in power theft, it's against the law, it's dangerous, it can cause death, it can cause loss of property.
Electricity connection is a key element into the development of a given nation, and more especially in an industrial revolution that developing nations like Uganda are going through, especially in meeting her 2030 goals. Brian Senkumba, Channel 44 Prime News.